Rest in peace, Breonna Taylor. I go by the name of Devine Carama, and I just want to keep her name and her legacy alive the best way I know how. Let's go. Total collapse, I'm talking death to the system that refuses to protect the lives of black women. I'm trying to keep the faith reverent. It's hard to respect the profession that was started by ex-slave catchers. To kill black people, sir, were you given a license? Protected by your badge, emboldened by your whiteness? How Breonna's killer's not charged with a crime when I've been arrested for driving with suspended license? Wrong house, wrong people waving gun at neighbors. The lack of accountability is complicit to behavior. Daniel, do your job, we don't need your thoughts and prayers. We need action from you, the governor and the mayor. Please keep marching to the boys in blue are charged with murder. Keep shining like moon in the darkness. Refuse to be a target of future racial oppression. Teach the youth that God and knowledge their strongest weapon. Like, I got 16 bars for Breonna. That's the least that I could do for honor. Till killers are arrested in court facing your honor. I keep spitting these bars for Breonna. I got 16 bars for Breonna. That's the least that I could do for honor. Till killers are arrested in court facing your honor. I keep spitting these bars for Breonna.
Stop being weird!
I'm not, I'm trying. Nah, man, I'm just sitting.
All y'all shut up, this ain't fun time.
I was told as a teen, you get pulled over for speeding. Be nice and respectful to police when you speaking. Catch your first charge, the judge will be lenient if you wear a polo to court, pair of khaki with some creases. Of course it is true, many blacks have been mistreated, but police won't bother you unless you give them a reason. Break the stereotype, go to school, get a degree up, become an EMS worker on the front lines of treatment, providing first assistance to the wounded and the bleeding, and comfort the loved ones scared, crying and screaming. And never carry guns unless you licensed to squeeze them, only for protection of your home from evil demons. Try and live your life in whatever order or sequence, and you will avoid issues with any racist policeman. Imagine hearing that growing up, only to get shot dead by a cop while you in your bed sleeping.
I feel like that we are treated differently than other people, and I don't like how we're treated, and just because of our color doesn't mean anything to me. We are black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We shouldn't have to protest because y'all are treating us wrong. We do this because we need to and have rights.
From natural disasters, families forcing to fast, and America's like a beautiful quilt with different patches, bunch of different colors, cultures, even fashions. But Donald Trump's election is tearing the quilt's fabric. He trying to repeal DACA, outcome will be tragic. Teachers frustrated cause they can't focus in classes. Think Jose care if his grades are rewarded when he terrified that one day his parents would get deported. You think Tyrone stressing your standardized testing? Well, last night he saw his best friend clap with a Wesson. And what about Jacob, the only white boy in the hood? He loves Jada Kidd Styles, P&J Hood, but gets jumped every day for using the word. But his black friends say it, so we thought that he could. Our kids are misunderstood. Yo, our kids are misunderstood.
This is a coordinated activity happening across this nation. And so we are in a state of emergency. Black people are dying in a state of emergency. We cannot look at this as an isolated incident. The reason why buildings are burning are not just for our brother George Floyd.
Yes, I know there's some good officers, but brother, I'm from the South. I'm talking about the baddies that be turning up they snout. Truth stuck between two lies in an alternate routes. Look at the bigger picture and peep the inconsistencies. How Breonna's murderer still free, but 80 peaceful protesters were arrested outside Daniel Cameron's house. You smell that? The land of opportunity, yeah, but it's smothered by the stench of white supremacy. Trump defending Confederates, he stay promoting hatred from children locked in cages, delinquents stoking the races. He used the Bible as a prop to play the role of Satan. His incompetence exacerbates all the COVID cases. 140,000 dead in the slaughter. The children in Flint still got lead in their water. no law and order for Tamika Palmer's daughter, huh? Lexington to Louisville, West End to South Side. Listen, yo, I was only 16 in school, trying to fit in. God's told me one is knowledge and two is wisdom. I caught a lot of Jews, but my views were conflicting, and I was trying to choose between Muslims or Christians. No, I needed God to maneuver through the system that leave blacks blue, so bruised, left a victim. And how blacks viewed by those in blue is sickening. I'm disgusted at the racial disparities in the prisons. No justice, no peace until we see conviction. Keep marching in the street till we complete the mission. And men stand up, protect black seeds and women. Snakes flexing the low grass, teeth dripping with venom. They no longer hiding or using a dog whistle. Freedom of speech, a cloak for the alt-right seeking attention. They using the city crime to validate their presence, but the crime is a result of systemic racial oppression. And I'm trying. Kobe.
I love music, I love hip hop when you put a purpose behind it to inspire the next generation and little girls to dream big, to see women in hip hop that, you know, they can see themselves in, and just show them like you are enough, like show up as you are. You don't have to be a cookie cutter version of anybody.
We came a long way from when the white men were zealous. Now free tongues relish, living young and rebellious. With no purpose is darkness, no somewhere hell is. The devil's successful in enhancing our failures. 1950 lynching and a cycle of Willie lynching. Bread self-hate, we just crabs in a barrel. Thinking the only way out is to pull down our brothers, gunning down one another. Permanent frowns on our mothers. Why Breonna Taylor's murderers are pleading it was an accident. One of the best rappers in the game beefing with a female activist. Does society fear strong women on their grind? Like more than one queen can't pop at the same time. We demote one as a gesture, to anoint one as your majesty. We tear down Nikki to uplift Rhapsody. Stop trying to control the narrative. Women are multifaceted. Some focus on the bop, others is multisyllabic. Man, I'm tired of these culture jackers.
You've actually said in the past that you felt like at some point there wasn't enough room for more than one like top female rapper at the same time. Has that changed for you now?
Yeah, definitely. I think we're moving in the right direction. You know, it's a time when you see a lot more females in hip hop, whether it be myself, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, the KD47. I could go on and on, on and on, on and on, on and on, on and on.
Can you hear me out there?
Shout to the homie Luvjonez music on the beat. I got vent a little bit. Check it out. Listen. White supremacy love my style, but they fear my mind. He love dancing to my beats, but hate the truth in my rhymes. To our wives, we go too deep, but we come too quick. We work hard for our families and take care of our kids. We are the providers, protectors, and leaders of our home. But as leaders, we not respected, and so we feel alone. Stripped of our crown, but still hold down the throne. We the rock for other people, but got feelings of our own. We are held to our mistakes, charges and convictions. If we outgrow our past flaws, they call us contradictions. But if we fight injustice, we labeled as militant. But then we Uncle Times if we don't challenge the system. Complexities of thought, we are diversely gifted. We are not all the same, we are not monolithic. We the original man that causes mass hysteria. I'm just another black man in America. R.I.P. Breonna Taylor.
Can you hear me out there?
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. To respect our women and to protect our women.
And we need to protect our babies, especially black children in this nation.
Lord, why are we so reckless with our racial disparities between the rates of pregnancies that lead to death as a result of giving birth are disgusting. We are losing our black queens for nothing. More than giving birth to our seeds, institutional racism is taking all our fathers. So who you think's left to raise all our sons and daughters? Mommy, stepmama, auntie, and big mama. We just label them as strong without monitoring their trauma. The toll that it's taking, souls that it's breaking, and now they getting murdered. We don't even know their name. It's Natasha, Brianna, Tanisha, Michelle, R.I.P. Ricky, a boy, and Dominique Vales. We hit the street and protest for all the slave fellas, but what about Janisha, Megan, and Gabriella?
Black women continue to be presented on this chopping block and not protected by our men, by each other, etc.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman.
And we need to protect our babies, especially black children in this nation.
But I am above silence. Imperative, I must speak. When I call you queen, listen. I don't mean when the word that starts with B follows. No, what I mean is when I see you, I can see your highness. You beat your face up with makeup and your waist snatched. Isn't it ironic we critique women by speaking violence? I had another daughter, I would name her Brianna. Her daddy would rap like Hov and she would sing like Rihanna. Umbrella, umbrella, please keep the rain away. Pray every day for Kenneth, Jesus keep his pain at bay. I used to have dreams of me falling off a cliff. Imagine peacefully dreaming that an officer empties a clip. Instead of waking up from a nightmare, she woke up to a nightmare. And now I just stare at my wife in the middle with a nice scare. OG told me we can't afford defeat and stay woke. I said of course, cause we can't afford to sleep.
Breonna Taylor was an award-winning EMT and model citizen. Okay, she loved her family and community. She worked at 2 hospitals as an essential worker during the pandemic. I saw that posted on Instagram, and she's dead now because police in Louisville, Kentucky failed to measure twice in order to cut one.
Yeah, listen. It's Devine in the movement. It's the diamonds on integrity that jewels your medallion. The desert of oppression thirsts you from a fountain. Eden, your valley, no vegetation and mountains, but your rhyme with no challenge, make music no balance. When we record our sounds, we call whores to pound, like laying a horse down. Y'all shot Meg the Stallion. Magic cutting the energy source to your life. We gotta protect the essence that provides us life. Even when I was blessed to finally find the throne, I had to find a wife, I couldn't make it alone. It takes 1,000 men to build a king's castle, but only takes one woman to make it a home. My daughter rolled her eyes whenever our election. Now she's no longer alive. Lord, why couldn't I protect her? Warriors wield the sword, but the wise hold the scepter. So these stories I scribe, so when I die you do better.
I think the only thing that heals is love. And I don't mean much or sentimentality. I mean that condition in the human spirit so profound that it allows us to know I am a human being.
Last night I had a dream I could fly. My wings took me to a party in the sky. Tuskegee Airman was guarding the pearly gates. Perfect food on the ones and twos, Jam Master J. Malcolm and Martin was MCing the party. Dr. said we transformed Fiji water from Bacardi. Nina Simone yelled, Maya, thought you wasn't coming. She responded, I gotta see Elijah Cummings. He's new to the area. Him and John Lewis gave the torch to the youth, and they running strong to carry it. turned around and looked. Nipsey in the cypher with Pac, Nate Dogg on the hook. I can see my daughter in the corner singing Rihanna, chilling with Sandra Bland, Rakia Boyd, and Rihanna. Hey, I miss you, Queen. Daddy loves you. How you been? Knots in your pockets looted. You get knocked them out in nooses as cops when they shoot us. Progression is the key. I'm not the best with the speed, but I don't fear slowing down. I'm scared of not moving. We need more fathers that'll train their sons, teach them to shoot for the stars instead of aiming a gun. It doesn't matter if you dream of 1,000 new paths, if you wake up every morning and walk on the same one. Gotta constantly scope, look for the new routes. That Section 8 crib should inspire your new house. You gotta reach for new heights. It's potholes, not mountaintops that are flat. Your new tires out. Make history, young man. No need for opportunists. Carry the torch for Lacey T, Vivian, and John Lewis. We can blame the enemy, but don't wait for the infantry to save you. Get active, be the change you wanna see.
I rise to oppose this bill. As elected representatives, we have a mission, an obligation, and a mandate to fight for each and every American. I ask you, Mr. Speaker, who will stand for the American people, who will speak up for those who have been left out and left behind.
Hey, Saul. Just wanna know what point you gotta just say fuck it, man. When you gotta stop living up here, start living down here.
Hip-hop is so fly, she's intelligent and a looker. And Devine got a Luvjonez, I call her brown sugar. We not slaves to the dance floor, so when the rhythm's a little crooked, we just show them how it's done. Now let's talk Charles Booker, who barely lost the primary race to Amy McGrath. Man, I wanted that brother to defeat Mitch so bad, but the most frustrating part is the wave of the rural towns have been voting against their own interests for decades now. But it is what it is. I mean, what's done is done. It's true. We gotta pivot from the disappointment over who won, because if you add Charles losing plus his voters hold Amy accountable times her defeating Mitch, that equals the sum, right? That's the desired outcome. It's not the weather you predicted. Fight through the clouds, find the sun. Cause if we all come together, then we can defeat McConnell. If we all come together, we can defeat Donald. It's science. You know what I mean?
I think just moments of crisis demand leaders step up. And I just want to do all I can. I don't care about a title. I love this place and I want it to be better. And that's what I'm fighting for.
He's fighting more than one battle.
As we show up, as we raise our voices, one of the most important, critically important things we have to do is vote.
It's the trials and tribulations that amount to greatness. And I drop of love contaminate an ounce of hatred. Love my enemies, they my footstools to the light switch. Then my moon reflect me, make sure my night's lit. Provide life for those lost in the wilderness. The cost of a pilgrimage, offered in pillaging and marred in ignorance. So God gave me flow to lead these lost souls towards soundscapes amazing. Luvjonez on the beat, Devine on the verses. Queen rest in peace through these lines how we worship. Don't pray in vain, put some skin in the game and utilize your platform, keep saying the name. Don't matter if you new to it or tired or been through it. Your network, your net worth, we value your influence. Keep fighting for equity, demand equal choices. Allow God in your heart to defeat evil with our voices. But we gotta come together. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Rethink what he's doing, because as he antagonizes the individuals who are protesting, we intend to escalate and increase our actions at the same time.
Untucking in peace and then we squeeze buck 3. Deceased another brother, wise mother just weeps. It's systemic while we hustle in the stomach of the beast. We've had enough. We just want the suffering to cease. Since slaves bred a buck, that's why we lust in the sheets. I'm constantly getting harassed, so I don't trust the police. How the white boy selling grass, cop and get a lovely plea. We walking with paid lawyers, judge give us 1 and 3. Devine Carama dropping knowledge like the Dalai Lama. Whether rhyme for Breonna or ride a llama from Mali to Ghana, the Botswana, anything to pay the highest honor. I pray for a mama, I got daughters so it touch me. This is food for soul, got the bread where the lunch meat. The only way for freedom is to fight, gotta rush the streets. My only beef is with pork, it's just us, no peace. We armed with our voices, if it's no justice, then no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. This is what a revolution looks like. Like JK on the tables, I set the record straight. Until freedom is captured, we plan to escalate. God gave me dominion over the land I demonstrate. No justice, no peace.
Because those who sit in power over the television, over the radio, and over the press is constantly telling those who are the masses how free they are.
I'm starting to get hip to the tactics media using to shift the narratives and try to discredit the movement. See, usually it's deliberate, or they crunch for a deadline, but they know that most people only scroll and read the headline. Clickbait on the line to entice or hook the public, no regard for the facts. What they do for traffic is disgusting. Have you ever read the message boards? It'll make you vomit. In the name of free speech, they let the racists rule the comments. The next time I get a call from the news to do an interview, Hold up, let me answer this. Hello, this Devine. Oh, this the news? You want to do an interview? Sure, I could be available today.
Listen here.
Don't just whine and complain all on your timeline. Make a sign and hit the streets and march on the front line. Oh, you ain't into the protest demonstrations on the street? Define unique forms of participation for more peace in this nation. The police investigations into their own misconduct. We need your innovation. If you connected to the community, to start a non-profit. Do attend less eulogies to help the youth in college. If you don't have a lot of time, but God bless you with profit, then invest in youth programs. Help the kids in the projects. If you cook, feed the poor. If you can sing, make an album. If you an OG, then give us wisdom, spark nostalgia. Whatever you do, just make sure you do something, cause I promise you small something's way bigger than doing nothing. Stop watching from the sideline, fam. You gotta man up. Our ancestors engaged the sit-in so you can stand up. Brothers and ones are super woke and telling me it's pointless to cast my vote. But if I refuse to check in the game and then we lose, I really can't complain. Voting isn't just about validating the candidate. Voting is the accountability for the mandate. Daniel Cameron, who was stalling Breonna's case, was voted into position we controlled his fate. But we didn't show up at the polls to speak, and that's one of the reasons that the killers are free. I mean, we showed up so Obama could win it, but then we shouted in joy before the process was finished. And we were so happy to see a black man run. He couldn't get nothing done, cause they took the House and the Senate. Gotta scream with your vote, enhance your vocal progression. Make a difference when you voting inside your local election. I know it's frustrating picking between two evils, but we better get engaged before this country sees a sequel. And we Look, yo, check this out. I'ma just talk to y'all, man. Look, I understand, man. Sometimes it feels like we picking between the better of two evils. Every candidate isn't perfect, but it's so much bigger than that, man. We gotta get out of this super woke mentality where everything has to be the way we want it or we don't engage the process, because there's too much at stake. You know what I mean? In some way, shape, or form, all of us are complicit. And I'm starting to kind of look at myself in the mirror. I wonder if Breonna would still be alive. I wonder if George Floyd would still be alive, if I was more engaged, if I was more involved, if I was fighting just a little bit harder, if I was doing everything that I could do. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how we got to look at this. These are historic times. And we need everybody at the table. Everybody got to, man. Shaking, like, can I talk, Devine? As a black man that had to be quiet and just listen. Once I dropped my defenses, I was finally able to get it. It was a lack of willingness to understand what being intimate is. It was sex I tried to elicit, preoccupied with how perky her tits sit, that I didn't even notice the pain that she had to live with. She was the aim of my richness and blamed for being insensitive, accused of lying to a man. It's ridiculous, I won't lie, I was afraid of commitment. She was strong and beautiful and I would love to have kids with, but I couldn't stick around. Why? Cause she was always tripping. It was hard to settle down, there were so many beautiful women. Of course I'll hold you down, but you gotta stop running them big lips. I didn't do nothing to do, cause he's right, you are a big. And then I think of my past relationships, I get sick. I realized that in Breonna Taylor's murder I'm complicit. I didn't look at black women as something to cherish. I didn't mind shacking up but refused to get married. When I start to look deeper, it gets scary. Oh man. We came a long way from when the white men were zealous. Now free tongues relish, living young and rebellious. When no purpose is dark, it's no sun where hell is. The devil is successful in enhancing our failures. 1950 lynchings and the cycle of Willie lynching that really bred self-hate. We just crabs in a barrel, thinking the only way out is to pull down our brothers, gunning down one another, permanent frowns on our mothers. Why Breonna Taylor's murderers were pleading it was an accident. One of the best rappers in the game beefing with a female activist. Does society fear strong women on their grind? Like more than one queen can't pop at the same time? We the most one is a gesture to anoint one as your majesty. We tear down Nicki and Cardi to uplift Rhapsody. Stop trying to control the narrative. Women are multifaceted, some focus on the bop, others is multisyllabics. I'm tired of coaching jack, cause I'm tired of these Cro-Magnon like cavemen and crave women fighting. It's so leave these corny rappers to foes clapping to one of our queens, and y'all wouldn't believe her till she went live or photographic. A bullet wounds, this could have been so tragic. Fresh quotes in the caskets, mourning death of a rapper. All cause of fragile egos and coke habits. Fellas, if she sung you Joe Jackson, you better run Bo Jackson. Never put your hands on a female.
There's no way that a mother should have to bury her child at the hands of the police.
There wasn't a bandage on the floor, like no one ever attempted to help her. And she laid there and died by herself.
I know to y'all she's a martyr and a symbol, but she's also a daughter and a sister. I know we tend to look at the larger picture, so we march and we pickin' and try to target the sister, but there's aunts and uncles that really miss her. So please grab them a tissue, but for the issues we arguing partisan, like the pistols and pipelines that go from the public school to the prisons. We gotta shine like the sun. We can't lead 1,000 if we can't reach one. Black lives matter when we want the cops arrested, but they also matter when you cocking the weapon. No morals, no guidance, just grab sticks and they bust them. But what about no women and children? What's the covenant? The leaf of violence from the branch of survival. The roots are systemic and they watered by the government.
I think it has to do with organized greed, organized hatred, and organized corruption. Not just in the White House, but in the ways in which Wall Street domination, the ways in which the Pentagon, military and money, big military and money have come together and are beginning to suck out the rich energies of one of the great democratic experiments in the modern world, the USA, and all of its flaws. Those democratic elements and democratic practices seem to be so weak and feeble.
If you got it and you weigh it, then you stand up and pay it like your mind and your soul are the diamonds and the gold. What will form your legacy is whatever you let it be. Black men in America, why are they so scared of us? I'm getting older, but I'm in the view like Raven Simone. But I've been through it, so now I'm cooler than Razor Ramon. So I'm always moving forward from the Central to the tours. Back in 2004 when I was living in a dorm and I was playing pro ball. Injuries ended that, so I could either find my purpose or feel worthless or fall back. I started picking purses, pulling licks in all black. But then I started penning these verses immersed in all facts. Modern day lynching with shells from the gun. Not too far from the hell hat thong. You start questioning your freedom when your bell get rung. Steadily losing your soul, pushing sour in the Reggie. We all want the flowers and the veggies, but you can't plant a garden without inhaling the smell of that dung. It's part of the game, and if you win it, you discharge it. I just wish it didn't cost the lives of innocent martyrs. If you got it and you weigh it, then you stand up and pay it like your mind and your soul are the diamonds and the gold. What will form your legacy is whatever you let it be. Black men in America, why are they so scared of us? Man, the block is so ruthless, knots in your pockets looted. You getting knocked in by the nooses, crooked cops when they shoot us. Progression is the key, I'm not the best with the speed, but I don't fear slowing down, fam. I'm scared of not moving. We need more fathers that'll train their sons, teach them to shoot for the stars instead of aiming a gun. It doesn't matter if you dream of 1,000 new paths, if you wake up every morning and walk in the same one. Gotta constantly scope and look for the new routes, like that Section 8 cribs and inspire your new house. You gotta reach for new heights as potholes, not mountaintops that'll flatten all your new tires out. Make history, young man, no need for the opportunists. Carry the torch for late C.T. Vivian and John Lewis. We can blame the enemy, but we can't wait for the infantry to save us. Get active, be the change you wanna see. If you got it and you weigh it, then you stand up and pay it like your mind and your soul are the diamonds and the gold. What will form your legacy is whatever you let it be. Black men in America, why are they so scared of us? Get you a gumbo pot and chef apron for community. Education of love, the ingredients for unity. Along with equality and equity and worship. A bunch of kings and queens that are working in their purpose. Right. The non-profit sector, working with corporations. The uplift neighborhoods, torn in devastation by gentrification. That's outlined and redlined. And all the first time drug offenders doing fed time. And families left to suffer, never given immunity. Cops profiling and playing work with no impunity. The movement isn't just protesting for justice, we also gotta serve. We can't forget it's just us. We marching up the mountain, but gotta start with nostalgia. Then allow the youth to play their part in this challenge. Drink water in gallons and remember the art of balance. We can't win the war without Martin and Malcolm.
A former Black Panther, a philosopher, a man who didn't believe in nonviolence, he believed in Black power, the late Kwame Ture. Formerly and maybe most commonly known as Stokely Carmichael. I can't lie, this has been bothering me all weekend. Let's listen to what Bill Clinton had to say about Mr. Carmichael.
Just 3 years later, he lost the leadership of SNCC to Stokely Carmichael. And I say there were 2 or 3 years there where the movement went a little bit too far towards Stokely, but in the end, John Lewis prevailed.
When it comes to our great black leaders, black people who have stood on the front lines against white supremacy in this country, I don't give a damn about what a white person thinks in regards on how they chose to fight.
Good. Just like back home, right? Yes. Oh. Yeah. What's it been back? Oh, long time.
I ain't got a lot of good memories from back home, you know, so I don't be thinking about back home much. Basically, when I think about back home, I think fuck back home.
I couldn't imagine serving the hood for the clout. No doubt, I would have already burned out. My passion is summoned by a task that's enormous. Plus these crabs in the bucket that never let you out. Last week a follower kept it too real. Devine, why you rhyming for Breonna? And she's from Louisville. Chill, little buddy, it's an hour down the road. And my leadership ain't confined by an area code. Whether rapper or activist, I wanna make a difference. It's hard to get support if you can't see the bigger picture. I'm connected to the Lord, find solace in the scripture. Even though my family poor, spiritually we richer. The more people you've lost, the less you complain. Even with that perspective, you still feel the pain. The more people you lost, the less you complain. Even with the perspective, man. Mic check 1, 2. On the ones and twos, I got my boy JK, you know I'm spitting. Gotta take care of the earth. The black woman, she give birth to it. It's what you pride yourself on, D, so let's get it. I took it out in 2020, but Mother Earth is promiscuous. She stayed in the phone and the service was so ridiculous. My love seemed to breathe a lot easier in the mountains, but I'm blessed. She talked about meeting up in the shower. I said the ocean dries my skin. Plus I read the talk, 1 meaningful minute trump 10 meaningless hours. I'm mostly to see her breasts and thighs and utility. I don't. I see a queen with eyes of humility. The president don't respect you. He just sees sex, trying to make him see otherwise. Exercise of futility. I always see the planet that's synonymous with mama. And every time I see my daughter, I can see Breonna. The beginning of acknowledging a black woman's worth is respecting the body and taking care of the earth. Demand justice. If we don't, we won't stop. Like we shut down the Derby if they don't arrest the cops.
Calls to boycott the Derby are growing stronger as more organizations join the push. Today, Paulina Busca sits down with an organizer of one of the groups to see how they hope this will happen.
Well, Haley, the push isn't only for residents, but also business owners and those who are sponsors for the Derby. Their message is clear. No justice, no Derby. No Derby, no Derby.
We will prevent millions from being injected into the economy. Until the city arrest the cops and give an apology. No parties, no galas, no suits, no gowns. No justice for Breonna, we shutting the whole thing down. No pretty derby hats and cigars at your day party. No DJs playing Rihanna, baby, Megan or Cardi. This is a revolution to challenge the institution. We don't care about the money these rich white people is losing. The city don't care about a black woman that was killed. So no horses on the track, no parties in the infield. For too many, it's a reality. No 6-digit salaries and unknown fatality. Shout to Tamika Mallory and Untold Freedom for amplifying the fight. BLM is not a movement, it's a way of life. Thanks to everybody that's continuing the fight. BLM is not a movement, it's a way of life.
I wanted to have a voice in here because I feel like we only have the same couple voices talking during these times. So it's very important for me to come over here. Keep hearing the question like, what's next, what's next? Well, you gotta plan what's next. You have to figure out what's next. I'm very proud of the players. I don't know the next steps. Don't really care what the next steps are because the first steps are to garner attention.
I remember that day. My mom called and she just kept repeating, when are you coming home? And she was like, Breonna. I was like, what? She's like, she's dead. I said, what did she crash into? That was my first word. I honestly felt like my sister would have died from a car crash before she would have died from being shot mistakenly. And hearing my mom tell me also when I got home, they didn't know she was an EMT. So when they were going to leave out the apartment, they grabbed her jacket, her EMT jacket, and they were like, somebody left their jacket. My mom kept telling him, no, that's my daughter's jacket. And the man kind of was like, no, it's not. My mom said, yes, it is. Her initials was on the front of that jacket, B. Taylor. She said she will never forget that face, the look on his face. It kind of was like, are you serious? We killed one of our own? Yeah. It was really the hardest day.
Pray every day for Tamika and Janiyah. I know the pain they feel, it would never retire. As soon as it subsides, it comes back with a vengeance. Every time the RP traffic hits your mentions. Every time a whack local rapper write a verse mentioning Breonna, cause that's the only many ways serves. Frustrated with the cops playing hopscotch with the media. A year ago you unknown, now you got a Wikipedia. Trying to fight for justice while your heart is still mourning. You love the feel of the rain, but hate the sound of it storming. You feel blessed they passed the no-knock legislation, but they didn't arrest the cops and they dragging the investigation. You feel like giving up, wondering is it worth it? But happiness is a journey and not a destination. Keep the faith and pray hard, allow God to beat your demons. You may never understand the complexities of his reasons. Where'd the beat go?
Today, people came together for a drive-up memorial service honoring the daughter of a Lexington activist and musician. Devine Carama's daughter, Kamaria, was killed in a car crash last weekend. LEX 18 Sophia Millar shows us how she was remembered this afternoon.
3, 2, 1, period.
I told my daughter that she had the best mama. Years later, mama dealing with death trauma. It's like you part human, part ghouls. Like your mind always racing, but your body never moves. It's weird. It's like life don't feel real. Are you living a dream or just unable to feel? Sympathy decreasing, your empathy is receding. Your ministry demons taking you feeling like Liam Neeson. Grief starts from your heart, then you can feel it in your neck. You start asking why a couple with feelings of regret. It's like you never feel present. You're always wondering what you could have done or what's next. It's like you numb to the now. Take a gun and just blow your sun out the clouds. Nah, I gotta keep living. Just gotta keep living. It's crazy. It's like some days I'm good and some days like I'm bad. So like, I'm gonna try this therapy session, man. It's crazy. We gotta do it through the computer, man. This global pandemic. Just having a rough day, then I had some good days. Today is a rough day, but oh, there he is. I guess I'll talk first. Hey, yo, Doc, I don't know how much more I can take. Am I Aubrey, Joyce, Floyd, Breonna, and Jacob Blake? I lost my pops 2 years ago, still healing from that. Lost a long-time friend, yo, she stabbed me in the back. This global pandemic got me trying to smile through a mask. Up in the grocery store watching old ladies retreat fast. Celebrating Easter service on Zoom. Then a few hours later, my daughter died in a crash. A couple of months later, my best friend lost his son. It's like cloud after cloud, doctor, where is the sun? I hear brothers screaming for love, but they not feeling us. My life matters too, why the cops keep killing us. Of course, I understand my lineage and history, but sometimes I feel like being black is just misery. All this work, am I even making a difference? Sometimes I just wonder, what's the point of even living?
Hi. Devine Carama? Is that how you pronounce it? My name is Jason. I am your therapist today. I had noticed that you were talking, but unfortunately I had you muted as I was going over my notes, preparing for our session, so I didn't hear anything you said. Hopefully it wasn't anything of any significance. But I am ready to get started, and so how can I help you?
Yo, let your dad holler at you real quick. Always remember, Jay, you are a queen. Beware the jokers disguised as kings. It's not just the overt creeps that'll grow your breasts. It's the fake righteous brothers like Gotep that show depth. It was Black Lives Matter to the folk text. Then he FaceTiming, looking for the phone sex. Look, girl, daddy see it, then he call it. I'm retired for the game, I'm a husband and a father. I know all my players like Carama, why you hating? This ain't hate, this is game, man. I'm talking to my daughter, I call her beautiful Karma. Cause she's dating now and I'm dreaming the Glock a revolver. You know the old saying, what goes around comes around. And all I keep thinking is all the girls I had going down. Look at all the calamity in the world, and I can make it better being a father to my girls, you heard? Being a father to my girls, I can make it better, I can change the whole world.